Hey, what's up, guys? I know some people are probably wondering what my opinion of this game was. I just finished it on stream like yesterday, yesterday morning, pretty much. I kind of just got up and just finished the game. Honestly, it was fun. It was just I could see why the game was panned. There really is not that much content. There's really no other way to slice it. You finish the campaign and you unlock like I can actually show you right here. You unlock these extra missions, but there don't seem to be that many of them. So I don't know how like good the end game would be in this compared to other Musou games where you know you can usually run through. There's at least a couple maps that aren't too annoying that you can go through that you know allow you to show the end game stuff and be challenged and stuff like that. It doesn't seem like you have a large variety. Honestly, the game is not worth $60. It's just like there's no way to sugarcoat it. Like you pay $65 for this game, you're gonna get like a fraction of the value and replay value and playtime that you would get from pretty much any other Musou game on the market. Like Samurai Warriors 4, you know, I thought that that was like the Musou game that had like the least content. You could go through the stories pretty fast. You know, the other mode, I didn't really care for it that much. I guess if you like that mode, then there was a little bit more content. Samurai Warriors 4 2 is kind of the same thing with like one extra character and stuff like that. But this game is definitely worse. It's just it's kind of overridden by the fact that the combat is actually really good. I enjoy playing the game, and it's fun. I like the combat. I like the new mechanics that they added. They definitely could have explained them a little better. It wasn't until like maybe the last quarter of the game where I actually started to understand how the chain shift mechanic worked. Like they pretty much just tell you to just mash buttons, and that's how you get it to work. That's actually not how it works. You start it with a charge attack, you push R1, and then you push triangle, and depending on the weapon, then it will do an extra animation. Sometimes it's a unique attack, sometimes it's the end of a normal charge attack. And you can do it again for the third weapon, and that will end the combo, at least from what I've seen. I don't know if you can continue it past that. It's actually a pretty fun mechanic. The main issue with the mechanics that I have in this game is that there is no lock-on for the bosses, which is made worse by the fact that this game kind of has like a poverty witch time mechanic where you get like a little slowdown and an attack boost when you know dodge into or you just dodge an attack. It's pretty much exactly like how witch time works. It's just you get a damage bonus, which helps to break their shield. But since there's no lock-on, like you can't always see what they're doing. The most you can do is you can go in the options and change it so that when you push block or L1, that it will face the boss, but that's not as good as a lock-on. If you played any of the One Piece games, you know, those have a pretty good lock-on, which is definitely something that's needed because the bosses or the officers in that game are like much more active than pretty much every other Musou game. They have access to the majority of their moveset, and they actually can be pretty dangerous if you're on a higher difficulty and you're not like, you know, stacking defense or anything like that. Here, the bosses are kind of threatening, and that's mostly just because of the shield mechanic. Like, the shield mechanic makes it so you can't even do damage to them until the shield breaks, so it's like, kind of like the affinity system. It's just that, you know, once you do break the shield, you get a couple seconds to wail on them. I guess they were trying to balance the fact that you can actually do some pretty sweet combos in this game with the combination of evade canceling and using chain shift and Musou and stuff like that. But it's kind of annoying. It's especially annoying when the boss has a pixel of health left and they get their full shield back. Like it feels like it. They definitely want you to stand there and wait and get the witch time bonus. But that's not always beneficial if you've got a bunch of peons around you. You know, the peons attack relatively often in this game, especially the little named generic officers like defense captains and gatekeepers and stuff. You really don't want to be standing around that much waiting for the witch time. You want to just kind of wail on them and take the shield down normally if you can. I hear that the wind weapon art actually decreases the shield a lot faster, but I just got started with the end game, and honestly, I don't know how much I'm gonna do. It doesn't seem like they give you a whole lot of extra missions here. You get a pretty decent amount, but none of them are very long. I haven't really found one that would be too great for endgame stuff. I think this one would be pretty good, but I'll have to put some more time into it. In terms of whether I'll keep playing the game, it's kind of up in the air. You know, I could get like $15 for this at GameStop. I actually just went over there today. I took in the recyclables, grabbed lunch, and then went to Walmart. The GameStop is right next to there, so I went in there. I really didn't see anything that really jumped out at me as something that I would get for the channel. I was thinking of getting the DMC reboot, but they're charging like 30 bucks for it still at GameStop. And at the Best Buy where I bought this game when they had the little anime Japanese game sale, they had it there for 20 bucks. So I'm thinking if I do trade this game in, which I'm still on the fence about, I will probably put it towards Odin Sphere, because Odin Sphere is definitely something I'm going to be covering no matter what. I watched Squillo play that game like extensively, and it looks like it's going to be a great game. I would love it if they would make it cross-buy, so I could play it on Vita and not have to buy it twice, but you know, if I trade this in, then maybe I can get both versions. So yeah, that's like my mini review. If you are not lucky enough to live near a Best Buy, I don't know if they're still doing the sale or not. As far as I know, it was a one-day sale. Like, I woke up in the morning and I saw the Cheap Ass Gamer Twitter tweet about it, and I pretty much just got up, you know, I took a shower, grabbed some clothes, and just walked over to the bus stop and went and got it. If you can get it from there, it's worth $19. That's what I paid for this game, including tax. $65? No way. Like, there's just no way to sugarcoat it. The game does not have enough content. I went through the campaign. I didn't lose a single battle. I went through it roughly, probably anywhere from 4.5 to 6 hours. I wasn't really timing it or anything, but I skipped the majority of the cutscenes. There is one issue in this game in terms of the way that the narrative is held, or the narrative is told, rather, is that a lot of the important stuff is told mid-battle through, you know, the characters talking to each other, like most other Musou games. But the issue with it is this game is much faster paced than most other Musou games, where, you know, you have a lot of waiting for message lag and scripted events and stuff like that to happen. The game does still have, you know, scripted events and a little bit of message lag, but much less than pretty much any other game they've made. So, you know, since the game is sub only, there is no dub. I missed a lot of the narrative, like, in the first part, because I was too busy playing the game, and you don't really have time to look down and read what they're saying. Like, the pacing of the game and the fact that they did not dub it, they really don't go hand in hand, unfortunately. So I started just skipping the cutscenes. I think the stories seem like it's actually pretty good, but they definitely should have waited until there was more of the anime or show or whatever to do this, because there's just not enough content for them to work with. It seems like they just like adapted the first season or something. I'm assuming it's a abridged version. I've never watched any Arslan. Apparently they gave me like a free code for the first episode or something. I might check that out since, you know, I beat the game. I watched like maybe half of the cutscenes. But the game's just got a lot of issues. I feel like if they wanted the game to succeed, at least outside of Japan, they definitely should have released it at a lower price. I think maybe anywhere from $30 to $40 would be a fair price for this game. $65 is really, really stretching it. And that's probably why the game didn't do that well. It didn't do well in Japan. I'm not really sure why. I guess it's just not really a large IP. I had never heard of Arslan before they announced this. You know, I heard of it because it was a Musou game, and I tend to be active in terms of, you know, following Musou game news and stuff, but I had never heard of it. It's definitely not a worldwide property. It's not like the other franchise Musou games they've done, like One Piece and Gundam and Zelda and stuff like that, where people all over the world love them. I don't think anybody really bought this game because they liked Arslan outside of Japan. I think they just bought it because it was a Musou game, and that's pretty much what I did. And I saw Squillo play through this, and he pretty much said the same thing. I think he paid like, you know, the full price for the Japanese import, which is probably like anywhere from 70 to 80 bucks, and he was pretty upset. Now, there is some DLC, and I don't know much about it. I'm assuming that they have some pretty cool, challenging stuff in there. I don't know if you get any nice, you know, end-game maximization levels in just these extra maps that they give you. I will get back to you guys on that, but it seems like it's going to be one of those games where you'll have to at least buy a little bit of DLC if you want to do that stuff. And Warriors of Orochi 3 was pretty much the same way. Everyone did Ninjas United for the maximization stuff back in the day. I think this game is probably going to be very similar. You know, you buy whatever DLC pack has the hardest mission, or the one that's, you know, got a lot of officer fights or something like that. You use that to tier the characters. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it. On one hand, I really don't have any more gaming budget unless, you know, I get the call back from the repair shop and they tell me that they do not have to format the computer. Then I'll have an extra 40 bucks and I can probably get Ninja Turtles. But I don't really have any money for any other games right now, so I may or may not stick with this. At this point, I'm not going to promise anything. We'll see what happens. So that's my mini review. What I'll do after this is I'll put up some gameplay footage once I level up the characters more. That is the final issue with this game is towards the end, you can get to play. They give you just a bunch of the characters unlocked, pretty much in like the last quarter of the game. But you get to play as all of them for like a couple minutes. Like there's absolutely no time to get used to their moveset, and they're stuck at level 1. There doesn't seem to be any experience curbing in this game. Like it's kind of just everyone starts at level 1 no matter what. So you get to play as them for like 2 minutes, and then the game is over. So if you're one of those people who just finishes the campaign, you see the credits and you shelve the game, and you definitely are not going to want to pay full price for this. You get a pretty decent amount of characters. They're all relatively unique. Some of the characters have the same weapons, but they use them in different ways. But there's just like not a lot of content in this. There's just no way to sugarcoat it. I wish I could be nicer about it, but I honestly would have been pissed if I paid like 65 bucks for this. Unfortunately, it's still like $60 on Steam and stuff like that. So if you want to play it on Steam, you'd probably have to wait until they do like a 50% off discount or something like that. Anyway, that ends my review. I'm sure people were interested in what I thought of the game. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep it or not. I'm kind of on the fence. What I will be doing probably tomorrow, since I don't have anything to do, I actually need to be near the house because they may call me about the computer, is I'll probably go through the rest of these and see if I can actually do end game content maximization and stuff like that. But as it stands now, it doesn't seem like I'll really be able to. So I'll let you guys know. Thanks for watching. Peace.